Alright, welcome back to the shop. Welcome back to Popcorn Zip Tie Garage. So today, once again, we're going to be working on the old Subaru. 98 Subaru, first gen Subaru, so this should be applicable for every first gen. So what we're doing today, we're going to replace the power steering pump. So it's got a little notchiness in the steering, and I'm hoping it's the pump and not the steering rack, but if it is, we'll replace the steering rack too and have a video on that too, so it's all good. So I've purchased just the pump, so I will have to switch the reservoir over. I didn't do new lines. These are seeping just a little bit, but not really leaking. So I do have, there's new O-rings and crush washers, so hopefully we won't have any leaks or problems there. So anyway, with that, let's get started. Okay, so to do this job, you're basically going to need a few sockets, a 10, a 12. I need a 13 because I replaced the bolt, but I don't think so. I think you can do it with a 10, a 12, a 14, and a 19. An extension probably for your ratchet, some brake clean, the little impacts help along the way, a little hammer tap to get your pulley off possibly. And then you're going to need also power steering fluid, which in our case is automatic transmission fluid of the dextrose variety. And that should be about all you need, plus your new power steering pump. And it should come with new crush washers and O-rings and such to do the job. So yeah, that should be all you need. Alright, so first of all, we're going to suck as much of the power steering fluid out of the reservoir as possible. I just have this cheap eBay, basically it's a brake bleed kit, but you can use it to suck out fluids out of like your brake master cylinder, all kinds of things. So anyway, so we're going to do that first, get as much out of there, just a minimal mess as possible. So let's get started with that. Let's see how much junk we can suck out of here. We got a screen in here that's keeping us from getting way down in the pump. So we're probably going to have to pull that out of there. I'm going to empty what I got right here. Pull this screen out of here so we can get further down in there. Suck more out. Get down to the bottom of the reservoir hopefully. Working pretty good. Can get a bunch of it out of there, I think. Okay, empty this one. Alright, we're getting down to the bottom of the reservoir. Got about all we can get out of the reservoir, so that's good. That'll be less mess when we pull the reservoir off and all that. Alright, let's move on. Pull this cover off right here so we can get down and release the tension and all that on our belts and all that. These are all 10 millimeters, so should come off pretty simple. We may just be able to swing it out of the way here. Oh, this one needs to go up. Oh, can't get in there. I'll have to use the other. Alright, let me get that off there. Alright, this is attached actually to the alternator, so I need to loosen that. By the way, these are 10 millimeter. I'm not sure, I think that one might be a 14. Let me get 14, see what we got. It is a 14. Alright. Nope, I lied. I believe it's 12. Actually, that was a 13 millimeter socket I just had, so I didn't even grab the right size socket. Okay, all you gotta do is loosen that. You don't have to take it all the way off. All I gotta do is loosen this bolt right here, that one right there. You don't have to take it all the way out. You don't want to take it all the way out because that is your alternator brake. You don't have to leave. You can leave this one on right here because all we're going to do is loosen this bracket. There's a tensioner on there so that we can remove our power steering pump. And then we'll have to take off both of these lines, a high pressure line and a low pressure line. And so let's get to that. You got to loosen this bolt right here, which again is a 12 millimeter. See if I can get it one-handed. So we want to loose that, and then this is our tensioner bolt, which I believe is a 12. I don't know, that may have been replaced. That might be a different size. Anyway, so we got that one loose, and I think that's all we have to do. We're going to have to get an extension on that, so let's see what we can do there. All right, this tensioner bolt is a 13, but I honestly believe this has been replaced on mine. So the original might be a 14 or 12, but we're getting it loose so that we can get our belt off of there. I still got a little ways to go. Loosen that up. You shouldn't have to take it all the way out of that bracket. We'll see. Yep, still got a little ways to go. And of course I dropped my socket. Pull that out of there. Not sure how long this bolt is, so maybe don't want to go crazy. Basically, this just pushes down on our alternator go down so we can get it off of there. Let's go a little more. Oh boy. There we go. It came all the way out, but that's fine. All right, pop our belt off of there. All right, now then, we have to, this can stay on, I think, but this bracket goes and attaches here. All right, we'll figure this out and come right back. So we got a 10 millimeter nut right here that holds basically our lines in place. So we're gonna loosen that, take that out first, and then we're gonna disconnect these two lines. And then we have to take out the bolts that are in here that are holding this to the engine block. So we'll get to that, but anyway, so we gotta get this one loose and out of there. So it's right there. I don't think I can do it with one hand. All right, let me see if I can get a ratchet on there. I can get a socket in there, so that's good news. Careful not to lose that bolt. All right, now the nose line should move, no problem. So got that loose. So I'll have to pop those out of there. All right, now we're going to proceed. Take loose these two lines, this one and this one. I think that's a 14. This is just, you need either pair of pliers or hose clamp pliers. Anyway, so we'll get that off too. Hose clamp pliers to pull this back, but you could use regular pliers too. Anyway, just get that back off of the stem of the pump. Something like that. And if this little hose is bad, you need to replace that. Like if it's getting really, really hard, because it's rubber and it's supposed to be soft. This one's not crazy bad. I'm going to get it off of there and check it, so I may replace that as well. Okay, had to change cameras, so I'm not sure what all got recorded or not, but this pressure line here needs to come off, and that's a 14 millimeter banjo bolt, and that your rings come off with it as well. There's a bunch of junk on there. Then these are either hose clamp pliers or regular pliers. You get that off and then you pull that back. All right, now we're going to go in here and get these bolts off. If you can see them right through there. I'm not sure what they are. These are deep well socket, possibly a 14, so we'll see how that goes. All right, these bolts are 12s. These are 12 millimeters, so there's not much room. You got to have about the right size socket to get in there. But anyway, and you got to rotate your pulley a little bit to get them. So I'm gonna have to use 2 hands to get the rest of these, so I'll turn it back on when I get it. Okay, it is 12 millimeter. You can get these bolts actually with a short socket. It works better because you got the fan shroud here in the way. You can get it in there. It's just kind of tight. You can see them right here. These 2 are done. I'm finishing the bottom one. There's actually 3 bolts, 1 on each side and 1 clear on the bottom. Once I get that, it should just lift right out of there. Let's see if I got it enough. Yep, I think my bottom one is still, something's still holding me. Oh, that bolt's got to come completely out. There we go. I'm gonna have to use a magnet, I think. All right, be right back. Okay, got all 3 bolts completely out, and then just it'll lift right out of there. So there we go. Then we'll need to clean up all of our mess. But now then, we got to get the reservoir off and transfer our pulley over and all that. So we'll move over to the workbench to work on the rest of it here. Okay, we're going to start. We're going to take the pulley off. That's a 19 millimeter. I'm going to use an impact on that, so hopefully I don't have to support it and hold it. Whoop. There she goes, right off there. We've got this washer, lock washer, and then we'll see. We might have to have a puller get that off there. We'll see where we're at there. All right, I'll be right back. There we go, a couple of tappy taps, leave the bolt on there a little loose, and that should come right off there. I thought I was going to have to use the puller, but I didn't have to, so it's all good. Alright, we need to get this reservoir off of here. We got to remove those top 4 bolts, I believe, and then there should be 2 bolts clear down the bottom, probably 10 millimeters, that will release this from our old pump so we can transfer it to our new pump. So we'll get started on that. Okay, now you can buy these with a new reservoir on it attached, but save yourself a little money. Just use your old reservoir, and that's what we're going to try to do. Because it costs a little more money to get the new reservoir, of course. Alright, and that comes apart. We want to be careful because we don't want to mess up all the stuff. Yep, and then we got 2. Look like 12s maybe. Alright, let me get a rag and clean the rest of this fluid out of here that we couldn't get sucked out, and we'll go from there. Be right back. Okay, I'm going to wipe the rest of the fluid. There's also a screen here that goes basically to your low pressure line. You want to make sure that's not got a bunch of stuff in it. Ours does not, fortunately. So we're just going to clean it out a bit before we try to get those 2 bolts out of there, which I think they look like 12. So I'm going to give that a shot with an extension with an impact, little impact, and see if it won't come right off. Alright, that's pretty good. Let's see what we got. Okay, these are indeed 12s. So using the impact, they come out pretty easy. Set those aside. Yep, and then our reservoir comes right off of there. Alright. Want to clean the bottom of this up. We're just going to clean the whole thing up as well as possible. that had an O-ring on it. Well, my friend Spam Risk is calling me. I don't think I'll answer it. Anyway, so here's the new one, goes right here. So it'll go in there just like that. Pop this cover off. First, let me clean this up. I'll be right back. Okay, we've popped our little cover, seal thing, dust cover off. You want to clean this up good. Mine was covered with paint because this is a reconditioned pump, but you want that all cleaned off. And then our new one should go on just like that. Make sure your O-ring's in there, good like that. And then we'll just take our bolts, put them back down in there. A little bit tricky. Get them started by hand as best you can. Alright, got that one started. This one's being a little more stubborn. Of course, there is an O-ring there that I might need to pop that out. I think I will. So there's a washer with an O-ring on it. The other one stayed on the bolt. This one didn't. So, all right, let me get that out there. All right, trying this again. Put my bolts down in there first. Maybe it'll be easier to go. Clean all that up. Get them started by hand. Get that one started. Alright, get them started. Send them home. I don't think they don't need to be very tight. Something about like that there. Alright, and now just go back together. I think that went like that. Of course, there's our thingy. Top goes back on. And then these 4 bolts. Okay. Put our 10mm on. That nose up. These aren't very tight either. Just kind of one ugga-dugga. Alright. That should be it on a reservoir. That's easy peasy, and as long as it don't leak, that's a lot better than paying an extra price for the other one. Alright, so putting our pulley back on, just doesn't matter, it goes on there, push it down as far as you can, get your nuts started. Want to be stubborn, but that is a brand new shaft, so we'll go easy. We won't give it all the horse torque, so we'll just there we go. I think it had a little paint on it too. We're going to give it one good ugga-dugga. Okay, 2 good Ugga Duggas. Alright, that should be it. Looks good. Alright, we're gonna go over the card and put it back on. Okay. Alright, we're gonna put her back in there. I'm gonna clean this up just a little bit with some brake cleaning first. I'm not gonna get crazy, but while we're there, we might as well do what we can a little bit. She's pretty cruddy from, oh, I don't know, what's it got on it now? 282,000, I think, so pushing 300,000. So here's the deal. Some people give the Subarus a bad rap because these first generation engines essentially would blow head gaskets. But here's the deal: so these EJ motors would blow head gaskets, and but after you replace them once with the multi-layer, one's the turbo ones, basically ones that come on the turbo models, you don't have any problem. This one was replaced. I have to go back and look at the paperwork. It was replaced before I got it, and I was told it was with the upgraded gaskets. And so anyway, so far motor's rock solid. But here's the deal about Subaru, buddy. Everything is on top. This is my AC compressor. This is my alternator. This is my power steering pump. It's so easy, so easy to get to and work on without laying on your back underneath the car. You don't need a lift for a lot of stuff, you know. So I mean, I wasn't filming before when I put the new timing belt water pump in, but that's not that bad. You do have to pull the radiator and stuff, but it's still pretty easy peasy. So anyway, all right, we got this cleaned up a little bit. Nothing crazy, but then we'll set right down in here, just like the old one, just like that. And when we grab our bolts, we'll try to get them started right there, by hand anyway. If we get one up started, the other two will probably be easier. It's just kind of difficult getting through that hole. I guess I could have let the pulley off, but couldn't get much torque on it. Alright, there's that one. Getting started. Some more. Don't want it crazy. Don't want to tighten it up yet because we have to put the other two bolts in. Just one of these little ones. Alright, get that one started. It's not cross-threaded. Good news. I'll use a deep well socket. Kind of reach in there. There we go. I can actually see. So these top two are the easiest to get to, of course. Okay, so those two are started. We can get the bottom one easy peasy enough. It's a little more difficult. Those. Okay. They're all three started, so our regular socket, regular short socket. Get them on there. I'm going to try to push the bottom of it first. Can't get my electric impact in there, so I could do it the old-fashioned way. Alright, I'm going to tighten these up and I'll come right back. Alright, just finished snugging them off, and all good, and they're good and tight. So now we can put our lines back on. I'm not replacing this hose today because I don't have one, but I am replacing it because it's pretty hard. That one on there. Need to pull the plug out of this one. I should have done that first. Alright, plug comes out, and we should have two new compression washers over here. There's our washers. So one goes inside like that. The other one goes, see that or not. Like that. We want to get our banjo bolt started. Hand for sure. Definitely don't come across like that. Gotta be careful here. I don't know. There's a crush washer here and a crush washer there. We just got thread a bolt back in there. Alright, I disconnected this one because it makes it easier to get this bottom one with the banjo bolt started. Get that in there. Tighten it up. 14. Use a wrench to finish tightening it up. And these are compression washers, so you just want to be able to feel it compress. Don't want to go crazy tight. We are dealing with an aluminum housing and stuff. It's real easy to strip out. Just right about there. We'll come back and make sure that's not leaking when we do get everything else put together. And alright, gotta slide this rubber hose on if I can now. I may not be able to. Might have to loosen back up my big one to get it. Because now I don't have movement in the line. Yep, okay, so I'm gonna loosen that back up. Not take it all the way out, but take it some down. Okay, once you get this bottom bolt started, go ahead and line up because you're going to have the space to get your upper rubber line. Now mine is hard, that's probably the reason that it doesn't flex. It's more difficult for me to get it on there. But there we go. Start it on there like that. Okay, now then we can take our lower line, which now is kind of in a bind with pressure on it. So you might take a while to reach. I'm going to see if I can get my 14mm socket and extension down in there on that. There we go. Now we're talking. Alright, I'm going to tighten it up by hand. And again, we don't don't want it super tight. We just need to compress those washers. So that's pretty good actually. It's pretty tight. We'll check it in a bit and make sure it's not leaking. Alright. We got our hose clamp pliers. Put that back where it was. Again, I'm going to replace this hose, but I got to order one. I don't have one, so we're going to put it back on there for now. Pray that it don't leak. Alright, that's pretty good. Might try to get this hose back on. Alright. There's that. Now we got this 10mm down here. Go back in. So I'm going to clean that up before I put it back in. Alright. This bolt here, 10mm, to hold our lines in. Oops, I don't have that. Hang on. Oh, and I dropped the bolt. Be right back. Okay. So we got our hose back on. We got this tightened up. Don't go crazy. We're dealing with aluminum here, and just has to crush those washers. We got our 10mm bolt right here, right below this. I don't know if you see that. Back in. So we're ready now to put our belt back on. So should be all loosened up. Enough for that. The alternator hanging down. This goes right down here underneath your flywheel. It's very simple. Slides over the power steering pump. You should be able to wiggle it a little bit. Oops. Too much junk in my way. Should be down far enough. Might need to loosen it back. Loosen it. I think I've replaced that bolt before. So, grab my 13 and tighten that back down until our belts are nice and tight. Again, when you're doing this, make sure that it's all in all the grooves. Bolt right here. Just tighten that up again once you've got tension on it good. Again, don't over tighten any of these, it's all pretty much aluminum. Alright, now then we need to slip our cover back on. Right there. This bolt back out. ridiculous tight. Alright, then we need to tighten up our 10 millimeters right here. These aren't tight at all, they just go hold this cover on. Nothing super tight. So that's good right there. Good and loosen that one. Okay. Now then, pretty much all we got to do is refill our reservoir. And this uses the power steering stuff. So ATF, Dextron. So we need the Dextron, it's basically ATF that goes in here. So we'll get some of that and I'll be right back. Alright, we're going to fill up our reservoir with our Dextron ATF fluid. We'll have to pump some back in the lines a little bit, get all the air out. See where we're at there. That might be overfull. Perfect. Yep. That's really great. Okay. It'll be okay. It'll go down once we start it up. That's great. Just cleaned everything up down there so I can overfill it. So I can make a big mess all over again. Alright, so that's over full. So we may need to suck some of that out, but I don't think so because I think it's going to go back into our lines. Lost a little bit of fluid. And then we're going to fire this up. Then we're going to work our steering wheel back and forth, lock the lock a few times. See if we can't get the fluid to go back in the lines, get rid of any squalling, squealing, all the air out of the lines, make sure it pumps. Hopefully this fixes my problem with what I had was intermittent. It's like you would have power steering 1 minute and then not the next. So I'm hoping this new pump fixes it as opposed to actually having to replace the steering. But if I do, we'll record that job too. So anyway, okay. Here's that. Alright, let me get my tools out of the way and stuff. We'll fire this up. Alright, I'm going to fire it up and work the way back and forth and see what happens. Okay, don't think we're leaking. I need to brake clean all that again. See if we're, yeah, our fluid went down just a little bit. So it feels a little bit better, but I need to go for a test drive and see. So I'm gonna go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so back from the test drive and it's a little bit better, but that's not a problem. So I'm going to have to replace the steering rack, I believe. Oh, I got a bunch of grease right there. Needs a bath anyway. She needs a bath anyway. But anyway, power steering pump need to replace anyway because it's the original pump, and like I said, it's got 283,000 miles on it. So it's not like it's one of those things that I wasted any money, because it definitely is going to need it. But anyway, so there'll be a video coming about the power steering pump, sure. And I apologize for probably the audio on this, because I dropped you guys one time, and when I dropped you, the back lid went shut, so therefore the audio got muffled. But it was just putting it back together, I think, so we should be okay. But anyway, so there'll be videos to follow up on this girl. Make sure you like and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up, all the above, for more videos on this poor old thing. And any other any other things we got laying around here, which is a whole bunch. Anyway, all right, see you next time. Thanks for watching.